A question I frequently hear is, what should my first pet reptile be? And that is a good question because you need to know if you're getting a reptile that you actually like and are interested in, but you also need to know if you're going to be able to take care of this animal. But a question I don't hear so often is, where should I get my first pet reptile from? And that question can be equally as important, as it can determine the lifespan, health, and attitude of your pet reptile. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over every single place you can get pet reptiles from and how some are better than others. Enjoy. A quick thing I'd like to say before we get started with the video is that I don't mean to make generalizations or assumptions at all. I'm just going by average data and personal experience that I've found while keeping pet reptiles for over 10 years. The first and most common place to get a pet reptile from is from a chain pet shop, and these are definitely possibly the worst answers possible to get a pet reptile from, because not only will chain pet shops averagely have reptiles that have been housed together, which includes things like parasites, germs, and mental health issues, because these reptiles aren't really meant to be together. So they're obviously going to have stress from being with others of their kind outside of breeding. So that's going to stress out the pet reptiles. But also, they can have bacterias, illnesses, because if one of the animals in a chain pet shop gets ill, that's usually the case for the others, because they're pretty much living together. So it's definitely not a great place to get pet reptiles from. Another common way people get pet reptiles is through rehoming, like places like Facebook, Pets for Homes, you name it, you'll probably be able to find pet reptiles. And this is kind of like a gamble, because you can get reptiles that are in super great health, and you can get reptiles that are possibly even in worse health than ones from chain pet shops. So it's basically like taking a gamble. 99 times out of 100, you'll probably get a healthy pet reptile, but it's always a risk, and you're never going to know for sure, because you're never even going to know this animal's parents, their files, their date of birth. You might even be lied to about things. Another common way that people get reptiles from is from breeders. These aren't necessarily reptile shops. These are people that breed reptiles either in their house or at a facility, and they can be good, but a lot of the times they're kept in rack systems, which give the animal very little room, or sometimes even no UV light, which can damage the bones and things. So it's not always the best, but sometimes you will get breeders that genuinely care about their animals and that they're serving customers the perfect pet reptiles. But unfortunately, a lot of the time, these designated breeders will often prioritize profit over animal welfare. So you might not want to support these businesses. And last but definitely not least, is what I think is the objectively best place to get pet reptiles from, which is local and small reptile pet shops. Now, these places will mostly make their profits from animal-related supplies like food, enclosures, spare light bulbs, things like that. So they aren't even always making profit from the animals, which shows that they care about the animal welfare and not making profit from them directly. And small pet shops will almost always have files, dates of birth, knowledge about the parents, and they will even sometimes get vets to check on all of their animals. So this is definitely the best place you could possibly get your first pet reptile from. Thank you so much for watching, and before we go, I'd like to say again that I absolutely do not mean to make generalizations or assumptions. I'm sure that there are some employees at chain pet shops that genuinely care about animal welfare, and I'm definitely sure that there are some small reptile pet shops that might just care about making money. So everywhere is different, but this is just a general advice based on statistics and my personal experience. I hope you enjoyed. Have a wonderful rest of your day.